Enough. Let's do this. I've done it again. That flipping picture. Hello. Ooh. 69. Amazing. When we get to 668, the neighbour of the beast, I'll be particularly happy. Wow. That's a bit bad. Hey! Hi, Gisela. Hi, Isabel. Hello, anybody else on YouTube and Twitter, Facebook. Hi, Rachel. Hope you're all right. Let's do this, people. When I figure out the thing with the button and the press the thing and the.
You're welcome here if you're she, he, we, or they. You're welcome here if you're gay, straight, or working it out. You're welcome here if you're in a relationship, single, divorced, or widowed. You are welcome here if you're inked, pierced, both, or neither.
You're welcome here if you're young.
Or young at heart.
You're welcome here if your neurons like to be typical or like to be spicy. You're welcome here if you're more Christian than Colin from Witch Hazel or haven't got the whole faith thing yet.
You are welcome here if you're living on a prayer or could use a prayer right now. You are welcome here if you've got it all sorted or if you've got doubts. You are welcome here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the YouTube has increased. Then that's cool. Excellent. And let's gather. I'm going to turn the light off because it starts with Gothic. So let's start Gothically. I don't know if that's a word. It is now. Is Gothic a verb? I'd do things Gothically would be an adjective. Horrible, no. Anyway, so yes. Oh, yep, comment. Just flashing back to make sure I've got everybody. Hi, Dora. Hello, Isabel. Hello, Gisela. David, Rachel, and yes, let's gather as we share in these words. Am I Gothicking? Yes. Gothicking. A regal goth. Obviously, you could have a goth queen, or just a kind of neutral goth. Yeah. I've still forgotten where I put the thing. Gathering. As moon rises, the sun slips sight. Begins the ritual of this night. For those convinced their path is right. Gathered from north, south, east and west, yet called at another's behest, those treading the path that is left. From near and far come, as you are, to this place, and embrace this space, as darker hue embraces you. Of water, spirit, earth and fire, confessing the sins of empire. We come with our wounds and desire. Sensing that we are not alone, drawn to the flame that guides us home. For here, you, me, and yet to be. Importance and signs of these times, for the sake of all those maligned, is yet the home of the divine.
Neuf. Egg in French. How have you been? So first of all, I feel I should swap round the laying down bit and the choose and tack thank you bit. So first of all, the laying down, which is, I suppose, a Metal Methodist equivalent of a confessional. Excuse me, baking powder. Yeah, apologies for not being around last week. Just full head. So apologies. Apologies for not putting a post on to that effect. So yeah, mea culpa, mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. Sorry, in my head I've got that maxima culpa. What we do in life echoes in eternity, because Maximus sounds like Maximus, which makes me think of Gladiator. And then I thought of like Lucius and the other people in the Gladiator film, the original one. I haven't seen the second one yet, and I just want to say, are we not entertained? Anyway, so yes, so my apologies, and I mean that sincerely, not from the heart of my bottom, but more from the bottom of my heart. So yeah, apologies for being a general Larry letdown, and obviously David isn't, because he's a David dude. Whereas perhaps if your first name's Larry, you can be a Larry letdown, like me. So apologies for being Lord Leslie of Letdown Town. So yeah, what has been cool this week? It's been 2 weeks. I'm interested to know how many books Torrin has read. My reading has fallen off a cliff. Have you been listening to things that are cool? Have you been to any gigs? Have you been out and about in the wilds, sort of channeling your inner Viking, or maybe to a sort of Gothic ruin? But enough about my house. That wasn't the criticism of the house that the church let me live in. That was criticism of my general ability, or lack thereof, to keep on top of house. Yes. So yeah, how are you? Be good to hear some good stuff. We can share the stuff that's not so good as well. But yeah, let us know what you are thankful for. And my computer has just glitched, so I don't know if I'm still here. But hello, I'm sorry, Lord. I repent. Oh. Hold on a minute. Right. Okay. So, like, that's not a good look. I need a test card. So, I don't know what's coming out of the stream, because, like, I've got a sort of slightly bemused, questioning, accidental freeze frame of my Fizzog. And so I'm just going to go online, just see what's happening online. So I have no idea if the music was playing at your end, but I've got a banner going across, but I'm not moving. I don't know if you can hear me. You can hear me, but the vision has frozen. You know what that means? All together now. Let it go. Let it go. The video won't play anymore. Do you want to build a snowman and ride a bike across the hall? Only if it's a Harley. You are in still form. Yes. So thank you. You join us for this week's Metal Methodist, brought to you in the medium of mime. Well, I'm speaking, but I'm not moving. So yeah, I'm just going to try refreshing this. So it could disappear. And if so, I shall restart it. See, picture and sound, that's halfway to this being a good stream. If we just get rid of the sound as well, it'd be brilliant. So I'm going to press refresh. Do not adjust your sets. Yep. Only joking, eh? I wasn't the first time I had frozen, but I just thought I'd pretend to be still because in my head that seemed funny and made myself laugh. Laugh. And he who laughs last. He who laughs last. Laughs. What? Yeah. Hey, how was your birthday, Lily? Is it good? There we are. Right. Okay. So I was just asking how you are. My computer's out of memory, really. A bit like me. It's relative processing space. It's just kind of. I mean, yeah. It's RAM is rammed up to the rafters. Right. Anyway, finding out how you are, what has been good this week. That'd be lovely to know. I'm going to try and press this. Oh, good. Oh no. No. Although, in the words of Iron Maiden, as soon as you're born, you're dying. But exactly, kind of what we do in life echoes in eternity equally. So therefore, there's something about kind of making every moment count, and making the world that bit more peaceful, welcoming, inclusive in any way we can, for as long as we can. So so let us know how you are in a comment on YouTube or Facebook. I shall now try again to play this. We'll edit this out. That was almost the kind of Metal Methodist podcast that I think would be really cool to do. But apparently if I just try and do a stream and, my computer runs out of memory, it'll just be a podcast and it'll be fine.
Hear the crowd as we roar. See the eagle it soars. Wind and rain refresh once more. From fear, hope redefined. We will not be denied. For we yet alive. The threefold name too? Shall we be downcast too? Or stand shield to shield, together in the field? We refuse to yield. Steadfastly holding the line, for love wins in eternity's time. We keep pressing forward until the last, and our crash shall be forever.
Hey, hello. Okay, so fajitas are on the way. Which reminds me of a really terrible joke, but I remember, I should have said it's a joke. I should have told it like it's a true story. Like, who was it who used to do true stories? Was that Steve Wright? In the afternoon, until he wasn't. But yes, I remember once, true story, going out to a local restaurant, and it happened to be somewhere that served cuisine. It wasn't French, but food, of a sort of Mexican variety and derivation. And suddenly there was a power cut, and the heating went off, and it was really cold. And the only way to keep warm was with chicken fajitas. It's not funny. It's not funny. Sorry. Dear. Right. Okay. So going back to find out what the good stuff is. Okay. So right. Book update. Okay. Sourcepedia finally decided to switch degrees. Okay. Cool. That's a big decision. So fair play for doing it, because I'm the sort of person who would kind of get through something and go, this isn't for me, but I don't want to kind of like let people down, so I'll just so I'm gonna put a hat on so I can take it off to you. To you, sir, I take my hat off. Better stand with my foot with that top hat in a minute. Cool. Are you feeling much better? That's awesome. As long as you feel peaceful about it, and you will be, I'm sure, a blessing using those skills and that training. So that's awesome. And I don't know what announcement you're on about, Isabel. Is it Aston Villa? I'm going to do a David Cameron moment. What is it David Cameron said about which former Prime Minister David Cameron, where he said about, did he get the colours wrong for Aston Villa or something? Or did he? I can't remember what it was anyway. But is it claret and blue, whatever they're playing? But yeah, Villa Park. Is it Notts County, the oldest and still the worst league football team in the world, in the FA Cup final against Aston Villa at Villa Park? Is that it? No. Is it the Chaz and Dave Christmas special? Is it Daniel O'Donnell? I could it be Black Sabbath? Yes. So a member of the Metal Methodist steering group, the Reverend Ian Bell, I think I should be saying Reverend Doctor, messaged me with this news, and So he pointed out that we'll kind of meet up at the front, and I could be able to spot him because he'll be the one wearing black. But as we went down to Bristol, it was really good to meet somebody who was saying, we talk about people from metal community, alternative community, goth community, and perhaps people go about the way we choose to identify and dress and express ourselves, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's about acceptance, and this guy's saying, it went to Monsters of Rock at Donington in the 80s from Bristol. He said, I was the only person dressed like I am, which was with a flat cap, tweed blazer with a sort of pocket square, wax jacket, and corduroy trousers in this sea of black. Brilliant, awesome, just come as you are, says Jesus and Kurt Cobain. Probably in that order. Black Sabbath. not another reunion tour. I haven't had time to get on the internet and see which variant are we talking. Is it one final fling for Ozzy, or is it sort of, I don't know, given the release of the other albums from the sort of late 80s, early 90s, are we going for a, is it kind of, are they reclaiming and some of the stuff that they perhaps didn't make available for a while? Are we claiming that one now? That'd be cool if they were. I think I might have to go for that. Hello, Patrick. So, Ellie, good to have you here on the sofa with Tina and Billy. It's like, never mind Anton Deck Saturday Night Takeaway. This is the Metal Methodist Friday night mess. Yeah. So we want fajita updates when you've cooked them, Millie. I think that's a subtle hint. cook the fajitas. Yes, Simon Mayo with his Confessions, which there's a Christian arts festival called Greenbelt, and certainly I destroy that. If you go back to the website, you can probably scroll back and find a very early interview with a band called I Destroy, all girl party punk. They played Greenbelt not long after we'd interviewed them. I'm not saying those two things are linked, I don't think they are. But Simon Mayo, as a Christian, would often pop up at Greenbelt. And if you've been to a festival, you know about the joy of using portaloos. You know, you haven't had a festival experience, so you're in a portaloo, and then suddenly the thing's upside down and you're inside it. And you discover that the world isn't just falling out of your bottom. So he used to do Confessions, but he used to film it and then show it on the main stage in the evening. He used to film it in a festival portaloo toilet, which was all right on the first night, but by the end of it, anyway, I'm getting completely off track, which is not like me, is it, Hild? No, not at all. Drink some more tea. All right then, Hild. Just tracking back to you, Isabel. Needed something to look forward to. Oh, dude, I'm sorry to hear that. Thinking of you. And so have you managed to bag tickets? Are they on sale yet? I hope they're not doing dynamic pricing. I mean, I do respect creative people who work in sort of marketing and things, but that was pushing the envelope in the blue sky thinking in the Imaginarium, which came up with tried to push scamming people for as much as possible by changing the price for things depending on how many people wanted them. We'll call it dynamic pricing. We'll disrupt the market. So if you are planning to go, I hope all those who can want to and get tickets. That's amazing. And I'm sorry to hear about your bad news. I'm thinking of you and praying for you as well. Isabel, thank you. Scrolling, Rachel. Sunday off this week. Oh, yeah. Okay. No, we haven't. Don't worry, Rachel. We haven't. It'll be lovely to see you. But also, if you need to have a lie in, that's fine. We'll just assume you're watching on the stream. It's fine. It's fine. Hey, no, whatever time you arrive, it is always good to see you. Thank you, Michelle, for being here. And with Gisela, Juice and Tax, yay! At the kickoff tour of Saxon, Girls' School, and Grand Slam. Oh, lovely. So not just seeing the bands, but actually catching up with people and stuff. That's awesome. I still don't know how Saxon are going. It's just brilliant. It's brilliant. So fantastic. Okay, so it's back to the beginning with Black Sabbath, right? Okay. Oh, you see, I have never seen them because I think I managed to. Yeah, I think at the time at which I had disposable income, by which I mean pocket money, to buy albums, to discover what I liked, I think by the time I could have been at an age to either get myself on public transport to places or managed to get into Rock City in Nottingham when bands were on, the bands that I probably wanted to see had stopped going anywhere, either too big to go anywhere near Rock City, Nottingham, or had just stopped completely. And despite the very kind invitation of my science teacher when I was 13, who offered to get me into Rock City to see Poison, I did not take her up on that offer. I was a good boy. Yeah, well, relatively. Shout out to the Goths. Oh, sorry. No, actually, no, not a shout out. A solemn moment to the Goths. Has it frozen again? No, Hild, I'm just being solemn in a gothic moment. Gothically. I'm gothicking. You're a gothic something. All right. Bit rude. Anyway, no update on the heaters. Still in progress. Okay, so tickets go on sale next week. Cue the website crashing. Yes. And if it wasn't Black Sabbath, there's a bit me thinks if we could organise the next person who tries to do dynamic pricing, whether as humanity, instead of sticking it to the man, and I don't mean this in terms of the bands, because they are probably so far removed from any of these decisions. I know that people like Rod Smallwood and Iron Maiden, take some quite drastic action to try and sort all this out. But kind of going as a fan group, as a fandom, kind of going, do you know what? We're just not going to buy any. You can put dynamic pricing on. That's it. No one's buying a ticket. Oh, they didn't play our game. WWJB. WT. No, I was trying to say what tickets wouldn't Jesus buy instead of WWJD. What wouldn't Jesus buy? I don't know. It's the sort of thing Jesus would do, I think. Kind of just subvert the system. Yo, hello, Mark. Good to be with you. And I've seen any ladders around you recently, Mark? Yeah. Okay, right. Okay, yeah, no. You're never going for heaters then. Those for heaters will be cold. You'll need chicken fajitas to keep your chicken fajitas warm by that point. Anyway, thank you for sharing what this day. Oh, best Black Sabbath accents. Thank you for sharing what this day has made Yao say. Tusen tack. Yeah. But maybe things have been a bit rubbish, and as well as shared, amidst stuff that's good, and it's good to have things to look forward to, and when things are tough, finding those things and being intentional about it, I think is a really important thing, and it's good that you shared that to remind us to find those things, whatever it is, that speaks to you, that you can find comfort and something of yourself, and maybe something beyond yourself, i.e. hope, love, God, the divine, the other, and do that. But it'd be good to hear if there are things that are heavy and not in a cool metal way, or hard and not in a cool hard rock AC/DC way. Why have I never said hard is like it's in hard rock before? Oh man, 4 years I just thought of that. Idiot! All right, Hild. You're not getting in chicken fajitas later. You're not having Yorkshire tea. Well, I don't care. Opportunity just to acknowledge, if you want to share, please do. Just encourage us to be responsible for the information that we share and not things we haven't got permission to share. But just things that we want to acknowledge. Maybe to be able to leave them behind. It's regrets, things that we're going, oh, why did I do that? But to kind of refocus on hope and life and inclusion and welcome and love and all those cool things. But also things to go, actually, this is heavy. I just need to say that it's heavy. I can't put it down right now. It is what it is, but I just need to say how it feels. And that's cool as well. So let's support each other and share this load together. That's a very short ladder. goes all the way from the top to the bottom. I suppose technically it's all the way from the bottom to the top. To quote the Hollies, I can't tell the bottom from the top. Some bells here ringing. Hi, Joyce. Is this the one with the unfeasibly slow fade? Yes, it is. Okay, so I'll just start talking. We'll all think it's frozen again. But you can't see me, so even better. Anyway, thank you for sharing those things that are heavy and not in a cool heavy metal way. Those things are hard, but not in an AC/DC hard rock day. I'm going to keep that one. Yeah, Isabel. This really is a long, slow fade, isn't it? I might just have to go and take that off. This is where you go. The first person to buy 10 CDs means that I won't get rid of, won't put my picture back on. The first person to donate £10,000 to All We Can means that you get not to look at me for the rest of the evening. Yeah, unlucky. What's going on? What's going on? Right. Yes, comments. There we are. Thank you, Isabel. So, yes, last Sunday that your church is being closed. And understandably, a lot of sorrow, not just for the congregation, but the community. Yeah. Tears have been shed. But just like Bon Jovi, you will keep the faith. Just, again, I feel the need to put on a hat. And recognizing that it is sad news, and I'm not being flippant with the word bar humbug, but it's the nearest hat I found. I need a better hat. This one, okay. But just to salute you for and that congregation, just for that kind of, despite the pain, that sense of grief and loss, but still kind of keeping faith for what is to come. So I'd take off my hat. Running out of hats. But so as a Methodist minister, I have been involved with several churches that have ceased to meet in the Methodist parlance. I think one of those, we're still exploring how the building, whilst unsustainable as a place of worship, might still be of use to the community, and we might still be able to have some sort of sense of mission and involvement with it. And I'll share this story from this circuit, and I'm sure wherever you are in the world, there's probably kind of similar stories, but of a church similarly that had to close, and they, within the particular part of this circuit, there was a kind of a public room that had been given to the public for using, but had the occasional kind of community group in, and so the people who had been going to the church kind of started a midweek kind of, we're just going to meet in there and pray, and that has grown and grown and grown, and this, outside of the building, this new bit of God's family has emerged with the bit of God's family that was part of that church, but has drawn in these people who perhaps for whatever reason wouldn't have gone through the doors of a church, but yet in this other space, people have connected, and it's things like that for me that, despite the pain, that for me is what resurrection is all about. And it's just that thing of kind of discovering what God's going to do next, but yet kind of perhaps only discover it on the other side of Good Friday, and perhaps the keeping the faith in those Gethsemane moments, through the utter emptiness and desolation of kind of the Easter Saturday night. Perhaps only then that we get to see what a morning, and as the sun rises. But just praying for you all in that situation, and thank you that wherever you are gathering, whether you are even gathering, whether it's just at the bus stop, wherever you are, and other folk from that church and the wider community, that is still the church. Everything that's about welcome, inclusion, and community, and bringing people together, and sharing, and listening, and caring, and all those things, they are marks of the church, and they will still, absolutely, the church will live, is alive, because of who you are in that place. So that's not meant to be sort of blowing hyperbole, but I think that is the way God works. And maybe when we think we've got to the end of us, perhaps then, in that space that might feel like a void, but perhaps then the Holy Spirit does something. I don't know. But so linked to that, we were kind of thinking about how far people are gathered. Hi, Joyce. And recognizing that whilst being in Midlands, I am further south. I am further south, down south from South Yorkshire in Derbyshire, but recognising it's still a big county, and we've been doing things in the evening, and through a conversation this week, kind of went, what if we did something during the day? Whether a daytime gathering might be more accessible for people, because I know about others, but I hate driving in the dark. I really struggle. So it's just a thought, recognizing that might still be too far away for others, but we can still stream and stuff like that. So if that's be interested to hear what people think about the idea of a daytime thing. And speaking of daytime thing, Angela Bryden, when he watched this back, this is a pre-notice notice. Cliff Fest 2025, Cliff College, over the bank holiday weekend in May. I think the second bank holiday weekend, the one that begins in the 20s. So bank holiday, so 24th of May, we will be at Cliff Fest. We have, if it's like last year, it will be effectively an inflatable church shape with a sound system in, and the plan is to just blare some heavy metal at people and perhaps do some juice attacking and just do some mad stuff. So please do, if you have a Google for Cliff College, which is in the Peak District in Derbyshire, beautiful surroundings. It's a kind of like a theological college, but it's part of the Methodist Church. But it's a weekend with speakers and different forms of worship, and we get to do some metal stuff. So if you fancy that and fancy having a weekend in the Peak District in May, please check out the Cliff College website, and tickets will be available. And after you've been to what I might be doing, you can absolutely justifiably ask for a refund. Yeah. So Gisela, you got unrightfully fined by no authority. Ta-da! Yeah, thank you. This is basically my computer is full, so yeah. Gisela, I hope that gets that sorted. But but having to do all that on top of all else that is life, yeah. So how to get sorted, yeah. So it's interesting, isn't it? Being able to. So I know in the Peak circuit here, Isabella, there's quite a few churches that again we're unable to meet, and what they've done, they've created a pilgrimage, and so basically each of these churches are now kind of like set up for glamping. So you book them, you eat at the local village pub, you stay. There's stuff that's kitted out with beds and showers in this local church, and there's kind of prompts that might be Christian. There's prompts that might be more generically, more broadly, inclusively spiritual, or about mindfulness and well-being. So it's not just for Christian sort of thing. It's trying to, but it's a way of, they managed to involve community, and it's provided jobs for people. So the local person does the cleaning, somebody looks after the bookings, somebody looks at the pub gets some trade from it. And again, I don't know who thought of that, but it's like, wow, okay, brilliant. What a clever idea. And when I was up in prior to this, up in Leeds, up in West Yorkshire, there was a church that had ceased to meet, and then they didn't sell it, they turned it into a soft play centre of the village, because there was nothing for kind of young families or for children. And that got well used, and people either volunteered, and I think somebody was paid to manage it, and so there was a Christian presence and ethos in there. And then people asked for sort of baptisms, so they did baptisms in the bull pool, or they did like a messy church with crafts and stuff. And this church, very different expression of church and different congregation, kind of grew. But I think some of the other people who had been involved were able to be involved again, but without all of the responsibility of being effectively managing trustees for a charity and all of that, and understandably that is a burden, whilst trying to a small number of people having to fill all these roles, and then being at church, rather than feed you, it potentially drains you, because you're kind of keeping it going. So I just pray there'll be people will find life. And I remember wasn't a church where I was at, but I was at the church council where people chose to meet. It was after lockdown, and this lady stood up and said, "I never thought I'd say this, but I think we should close or cease to meet, because I've got to be honest, this whole year during lockdown, I've really appreciated being able to worship by whether it's watching songs of praise or a Sunday morning program, and then ringing or something online, and then ringing my friend and talking about what we'd watched, and we'd have these kind of conversations about faith. But just he said, it was like discovering how to be a disciple again, rather than spending all the time worrying about which bit of the church had fallen down since we last were in it. And she said that I remembered that, Jesus went from synagogue to synagogue and taught, but he went around. He was up mountains. He was out in the village. He was where people were at. And that's what we're going to do now. Like, wow. That was just, it's really kind of challenged, inspired by the way they have kept faith and seen how faith might develop and grow through, something that as sad as ceasing to meet as a place of worship. So Tina went to Cliff. Excellent. So I was supposed to be there last year, but I was ill, so I wasn't. But I won't be ill this year. I should be there. Yes. Okay. Daytime event. Thank you, Isabel. Sorry. Driving to Johnfield for now in the dark. Yes. Similarly, I would not be driving for an hour anywhere else. So maybe a Saturday somewhere. Let's try that. It's really helpful, and it's you sharing comments like that has, I think, helped us, or not me, others involved, to have creative thoughts. So thank you. So we shall get onto that if that's helpful. So thank you for sharing the things that are heavy, and we just acknowledge that. And we can't necessarily make everything better, but maybe in terms of this metal stuff and this Methodist stuff, where it's seen as, it's dark and it's gothic and it's all black and it's not very, the light of Christ, and it gets dismissed. But actually, perhaps there is something about a God in whom darkness is as light, God who is with us in what feels like darkness, spiritual darkness, lack of hope, emotional darkness, grief, and that God and perhaps each of us can commit to walk together at whatever speed and pace each of us need to find our way through that. Not to rush ahead and so we go, it's all wonderful, but to actually, kind of find God's time and God's hope and God's resurrection and God's new life, all that creative stuff. But perhaps it's only in that space that we can find that, and maybe we can commit to being together, supporting each other for as long as it's needed. I guess journeying together. So let's lay those things down.
The principalities and will to...
I do apologise for that random wind. You should. Not that sort of wind, Hild. It's again. I know, you dirty set. No, I played the wind thing by accident again. Sorry, that was this time. Laying down, not the thinking time, the actual laying down. Here we go.
The principalities and will to power, the worms from within my own darkest hour. I confess all the regrets and the regrets, the burdens and fears, the lament and the tears. I lay them down.
As we do, no matter how far we feel from God, the divine other, or that feels from us, I believe that God in Christ, the original long-haired bearded dude from Nazareth, comes running out to meet us, arms open wide, and says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, even if you don't like Iron Maiden, but why wouldn't you? And I will give you rest." May rest and peace and hope and faith and strength and comfort be yours in every way you need it. And now, not a reading from the Bible. What is metal? So metal is made of paper. The Metal Bible. No, not a reading. I want to share. So I'm going to read something, but it's not from the Bible. Heretic. All right. Thanks, Hild. I'm just trying to find it. It was sent to me, and you know, a proper minister would have found it in advance, but you know, it's me. So yeah, there we are. So I want to read this. This is from. I do believe it's from Premier Christian Media, from their website or their magazine. It says this. Metal band in Minster fury. Ooh. So here we go. York Minster faces backlash of a controversial metal band concert. Ooh. Whereas people like me go, brilliant, metal band in a church. Let's go. Whoa. Oh dear. Yes. Not just a metal band concert, but controversial metal band concerts. Oh, here we go. York Minster is facing backlash over a planned concert by metal band Plague of Angels. So let's just open a new browser. You can do this with me. Plague of Angels. I mean, you know, if a plague is like a plague of locusts is like loads of them, Plague of Angels is probably all right, wouldn't it? Well, angels are all right. They're messengers of God, right? Okay. So Plague of Angels is a brand new band made up of some well-known seasoned musicians from the metal scene. The brainchild of Mark Minette, Jeff Singer, I wonder if he's the singer, and Annabelle Iratny. This project fuses a vast amount of talent and experience. Let's see. I'm trying to work out. I don't know what sort of music they are. So the British symphonic metal. Yeah. So University of Huddersfield, Plague of Angels appear on the One Show. Really? Anyway, so yeah, controversy. Let's go back to the controversy. Yeah, all right, Hild. So churchgoers, okay, banned Plague of Angels, which parishioners have described as an outright insult. It'd be better if you read it, Hill, because you could do it in the Yorkshire accent. I could, couldn't I? Yeah, do you want to do it? All right then. York Minster is facing backlash over to planned concert by metal band Plague to Angels, which parishioners have described as outright insult to their faith. I'm really sorry. Obviously, people from Yorkshire don't speak like this. Churchgoers are outraged by the band's association with Cradle of Filth. Yeah, Cradle of Filth, Danny Filth, British kind of extreme black metal pioneers. An extreme metal group known for selling a T-shirt featuring a topless nun and a blasphemous text about Jesus, which Rolling Stone called the most controversial shirt in rock history. Methinks deliberately controversial to make people talk about it, which has kind of worked a treat, right? Hello, Mark. Yes. No, I agree with you. Let's go. Let's get a bus. I think I'm only half joking. Whoa. Yeah. So speaking to The Guardian, a member of the York Minster congregation said, "This is not merely an issue of taste. This is a question of fundamental ethics and respect." The congregant described the concert as an outright insult to the faith it represents. The faith that the Minster represents, I think. Yeah. The controversy has sparked an intense debate over the suitability of such performance in a religious and culturally significant venue. While York Minster aims to showcase its newly refurbished organ, it is a magnificent organ. Hope to showcase its newly refurbished organ during the concerts, critics argue that hosting a metal band with such contentious past disrespects the sacredness of the cathedral. So I know it depends how you read it and where you put the. See you, Torren. Take care. Hope it's a good one. And yeah, see you this time next week, sir. Yeah, so the way you read that sentence, depending where you put the pauses, hosting a metal band, which is bad enough, or a metal band with such a contentious past. So, metal is fine, but perhaps this one, but they're associated with Cradle of Filth. They're not Cradle of Filth. They didn't have the T-shirt with the, and yeah, and I'm not saying having a T-shirt with a topless nun is in any way, respectful or whatever. But I just worry we're kind of conflating things potentially and going to go back to a good old, kind of dualistic. Well, it's all black and nasty and horrible, and therefore we shouldn't have anywhere near churches or faith. Some churchgoers have already expressed their intent to protest outside the cathedral if the event goes ahead. I hope we all watch that Father Ted episode before turning up to protest. But okay. So why is York Minster doing this? And it's not the first time that a cathedral, I think Worcester might have done it. So using symphonic metal, huge sounds with a huge choir, huge organ, huge sounding organ. Amazing. But it comes at a time where churches are facing financial strain. Picking up Isabel's point, with approximately 3,500 churches closing since 2013. 900 places of worship are currently listed on Historic England's Heritage at Risk Register, and the Church of Scotland is even considering closing up to 40% of its churches. York Minster faces costs of £4 million a year to run, has defended the decision, stating that the concert was approved by its senior executive team, which assumingly includes the Archbishop. So the cathedral was working with the organisers to ensure this event aligns with our values, and we are really excited by the opportunities it affords to showcase the Minster's musical tradition, the building, and the diversity of people who find a home here. So, I'm probably going to get told off depending on who watches this, but fair play, York Minster. But and it's good that other people are going, oh, that's terrible, but let's have a conversation about it. I think let's not. Let's not. Yes, absolutely. I can understand why some people might find it. What was it? An outright insult. However, I think let's spend some time, maybe look at what this particular band, Plague of Angels, their music, what they're singing about, why they want to do it, and again, who knows what people may encounter. So I think it's quite cool. It's got us talking about it, so fair play. I wonder what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I think just to hear that whatever's being played, to hear the organ on its own, but with a metal band as well, would be truly amazing. And here we are. I think Tina will be aware, but we are, trying to do some work with the Steel City Choristers to do a sort of metal-inspired, work with them with these professional singers, choristers, cathedral choristers, and to kind of take that tradition and the metal tradition and to create an opportunity for people to take part in expressing themselves through having a good sing. That's awesome, Joyce. So maybe we too will be in a future issue of Premier Magazine. I suspect we won't be, but that's let's start the conversation. I mean, fair play. Yes, it's good to question. It's yes, we need to be respectful of people's views and traditions as well, absolutely. But it doesn't sound like this has been done by York Minster to deliberately wind up everyone who normally goes, but perhaps to engage with people who don't normally go. No, I can't sing. I can't even carry a note in a bucket. Yes, I'm not sure mine's very joyful. I might go for a mournful gothic drone, I think. you know, you don't have to buy the T-shirt, you don't have to buy the album. You know, you can disagree with the lyrics and what a band stands for, but you can still be ignoring the lyrics if you need to, but still be moved by the power of you know, a crunching guitar and symphonic sound, and you know, that symphonic operatic style of singing with an organ behind it. You know, just that as an aoral experience is surely, musically, to me, it's, you know, that's like crashing waves on the rock, you know, on which Whitby Abbey stands. It's the power of nature. It's the power of creation. It's the power of God. Yeah, and I feel you can access some of that whilst, you know, being discerning about some of the lyrical content potentially. Others may disagree. That's fine, but I guess having a conversation rather than just kind of drawing very clean, neat delineation about what is sacred. You know, we're all made in the image of God as the one human race, so anywhere we are is holy ground. So everywhere is as holy as the minster or the church or whatever, you know, I guess. You're seeing more alternative uses for churches. Yeah, so your local C of E church showed the film American Werewolf on Halloween. Haha. Yeah. Visually stunning for others. Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, well, I think I've mentioned the two, meeting some sort of Christian, scare actors and things, and yeah, you know, not being able to talk about what they do and what speaks to them, because it would be like, woo, and I get that. That's fine, but I guess it's easy to have a go at and be scared of the things we don't understand. And so maybe it's about finding out and listening to others before coming to a judgment about what's blasphemous, not blasphemous. You know, and I think I've said it before that, there's stuff that's just done just for shock and that sort of thing. But sometimes some of the stuff by Rotting Christ, horrendous album cover. But actually, no more horrendous than sort of Renaissance art showing graphic crucifixion of Jesus, but also pointing out and asking some very, very serious questions about the role of the church and religions in deciding who was right, who was wrong, and what the consequences were, and of being a particular gender. If you were trying to help people and potentially use, wisdom about nature and the, how that might benefit people's health. She's a witch. So so again, I stand by the fact that no matter how horrendous some metal and stuff might seem and sound, I think by listening, perhaps there's a critique and a voice that it's important we hear, because it's asking the questions that we don't want to ask of ourselves sometimes. So Richie Blackmore and his wife Candice, yes. Was that the I remember reading about that in Classic Rock. Cool. Fantastic. Isabel, love to hear a band in there, particularly not. Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of musical style, I think quite often at a baptism, I will play, as part of confession, I will play Evanescence, Back to Life. And okay, I think you can argue Evanescence are kind of a Christian band, or have Christian lyrics or Christian ethos or whatever. But yeah, and again, the danger is we go, ooh, all this terrible. So yeah, maybe we'll all book. Maybe we'll all try and book Witch Hazel in York Minster or Sheffield Cathedral. That'd be amazing. But yeah, if anybody's able, when we get the details out, obviously people are very, very welcome to come and join this sort of sing with the Sheffield Still City Choristers. And I think we're trying to raise the funds for it, but also, trying to, involve let this community in terms of actually which track should we go for, which is a conversation in itself. So yeah, but again, that's been in people's newspapers. It's been, in secular press, not just Christians going woo about it. So in terms of where we are, whether it's family, school, bus stops, work, a conversation where we can engage with something that's in the wider mindset, questions of faith, questions of what's right, proper, a chance to perhaps talk about faith. And maybe people might be surprised to discover there are people who are Christians who absolutely love this sort of music, but an opportunity to kind of share faith through those conversations, because it's what people are talking about in the community, because it's been picked up by secular press. So is there anything that we bring as and for prayer? Please do let us know in a comment on YouTube or Twitter.
crown of thorns for all my scorn. I feel your breath as you love me to death.
So Isabella praying for tolerance and compassion, and also praying for you and that church family and the wider community as well. And with Gisela, yes, prayers for Christian bands who play at secular festivals to be able to be a witness for Jesus. And I can't remember if I said this before, but I think when Witch Hazel were at Fri-Yay and Colin's family were able to come, and for his children to see, what Daddy does when Daddy's kind of off in Germany or wherever, playing at secular festivals. Perhaps it's not appropriate to take smaller children and far-flung places from Morecambe. But those all those involved in the ministry of the Metal Bible as well, sharing that, and taking the flak for it. It's interesting, isn't it? So it's interesting listening to Colin, who said that his experience has been that it's harder for Christians to understand Christians who play heavy metal than it is for non-Christians. And even, he said he's had conversations with not just with atheists, but with Satanists, who have much more respect for their music, what they stand for, and even, to be fair, the person of Jesus as a human being, than perhaps the church sometimes offers to those it thinks are not right. So back to Isabel's prayer. So let's offer all these prayers in our offering to the All-Parent.
To the one in whom all people and all creation have their being, may your kingdom come, your will be done, as above, so below. Sustain us for this day. Show us grace as we seek to show grace to those we feel have wronged us. Save us from the worst that is within us and within this world. For the kingdom, the power and the glory are yours, now and forever. Amen.
And now the notices. I've already done them, so sorry, Angela. I think, so it sounds like trying a daytime event is a goer. So leave that with us. And May the 24th. May the 24th be with you. Luke, I know what you're getting for Christmas. I felt your presence. I ran out of spoons. Use the forks, Luke. That was an autistic neurodivergent joke. Twist. May the 24th, Cliff Fest. Get yourself online. You can be there for the whole weekend. You can come today, and we're going to be there sometime between 1 and 5 p.m. It could be phoned up near the time, but in that window on the Saturday, on the Metal Methodist stage. It's not. It's like an inflatable small tent thing with a sound system in it. But we'll be good to meet in person and good to do some bonkers stuff. And I won't wear my Cradle of Filth t-shirt though. I don't own that t-shirt. Not that t-shirt. I've just been checking out the lyrics to this song. Well, it's only the lyrics I can find is from the Plague of Angels first single. I'm not telling people to go and buy it. I'm saying, this, if you want to go and check this out, it's got former members of Paradise Lost and My Dying Bride, so I'm absolutely on it now. Fantastic. Reading the lyrics, I don't know. I think they're open to all sorts of interpretation because it's art, right? And so whatever the artist intended, when we interact with that offering of art, we bring our own meaning and own story, and it grows and develops and it becomes the conversation. So, reading those lyrics, I kind of looked at them and went, okay, so it's talking about what lies beneath this flat earth, a kind of a twisted paradox of humanity. I like and think of certain things and the behaviors of certain people that absolutely, from a Christian perspective, seem to me to be a twisted paradox of humanity. The way in which some people speak, some of those people have been are currently in positions of great power or wealth, and other people, used, an over exuberant, positive, perhaps naive view of human progress and science, or the concept of evolution, to decide that some human beings are worth more than other human beings within the one human race we share, committed acts of genocide, and twisted paradox of human being. Well, slave ships, seeing human beings as not human beings but possessions. Churches linked to states and their involvement in colonization and things like that, right? So I think, let's open-minded, engage with the music, engage with it as an artistic offering, and let's have a conversation, try and create a space in which, to hear what is so deeply offending to those from the congregation of York Minster and other cathedrals who might want to do something like this, but to have a respectful conversation. So yes, be lovely to hear your thoughts next time we meet, this time next week, about Plague of Angels, if you get a chance to listen to anything or have a look at their lyrics. But again, viewer discretion and discernment, and this came up when we were down in Bristol with Patrick, and talking about art, and one of the pieces of art on the Book of Revelation. I think one of the cathedrals was a bit whether we're going to show this particular bit of tapestry based on the Book of Revelation, because it showed what is described in the Bible as the whore of Babylon. And there is some nudity in this, and there was a conversation about, is this okay to, not sure about it. So these are real things to talk about, I guess. But I remember I think it was Rick Stott, who was a Methodist pioneer minister, artist. He talked about the piece of art Piss Christ, which is a hole, which is a crucifix in a kind of jar vial of human urine. And people go, that's a sacrilege. But actually the artist is going, literally, when the church is complicit and we as Christians are complicit in unjust systems, or we are silent in them, then actually, are we not pissing on the cross? Are we not, pardon my French, but the thing's called Piss Christ, he's saying we're pissing all over what God in Christ came to do. Reading from a couple of weeks ago, today in your hearing, these words from Isaiah have been fulfilled. I've come to give good news to the poor, freedom to the oppressed, sight and hope and a future to those who felt spiritually blind and couldn't see a way forward. Yeah. So I think I've ranted enough. Hello, Angela. I've hidden the notices throughout this evening, so you might have to kind of scroll back and find some. Yeah, I was just saying we're at Metal Fest. No, where Metal Methodist will be at Cliff Fest this year. So 1 till 5 on the 20th, or sometime between 1 till 5. Don't worry, not like 4 hours of it. No. Yeah, and we're just talking about the controversy with Plague of Angels playing at York Minster, incorporating the organ into one of their songs, which is their first single. But yeah, so how do we have respectful adult to adult conversations about just where God is or isn't, and how we might bring something of Christ into those conversations and spaces that are clearly happening, in the outside world, because it's in the media, etc. So that's enough twaddle. It is. Yeah, all right, and Hild. Where are you anyway? I'm underneath them walking socks you bought and put away. She is. Here she is. All hail. So until we meet again, and we will meet again, until next time, and there will be a next time. It's good night from her. Good night. And it's good night from me. Good night. I've been James. She's been Hild. You've been bored. Sway with me, Metal Compline. Sway with me, Metal Compline. Wait, for heater update. Bless you, dude. Thank you. Cheers, Ali. Cheers, Tina. Cheers, Millie. Enjoy your chicken fajitas. Well, I assume it might not be chicken. Sorry. It might not be fajitas. I made all sorts of assumptions there. I mean, no, you did say fajitas. It's just me that's haven't eaten. I'm just imagining a vast array of kind of Mexican food. Burrito. Okay, catch up later. Ooh, that working this afternoon. Listen to Beethoven's Fifth, proper classical meta. It is. It totally is. It totally is. Yeah. So we had a brass band at one of the churches at their final service before they ceased to meet, and what was their final song? Was it Love Divine? On this brass band at a church, because it was the final service, was full. I mean, it wasn't, people had just turned it from the street. It was for the churches coming to support them, but this noise and this music, and it was so incredibly metal. It blew your face off. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Bless you, Patrick. And yeah. Oh, good news. Good news. The fajitas are on their way. To paraphrase Iron Maiden, holy smoke, holy smoke. Oh dear. Char grilled. Thank you all. Good night.